Hello. Sounds like New Year's Eve already here. Hi. So, I played around with the Bluetooth thingy. This was the old panel. It had two coils. One connected right now, and no magnets. But yeah, I made a new one, and it houses. Let me show you up close because it's a weird contraption. So it has the same two coils, although not exactly the same, but and then it has another coil here. Now this is taped off, but there is a coil here, and the same goes for this side. And since the top end is far more efficient than the low end, because it's an open baffle, etc., etc., I hoped that like using half the coil would be enough. Well, apparently it is more than enough. I even thought about getting the magnets closer to increase output, but it's not really necessary. It's a bit wobbly here and here because, well, I played with tapes and, well, usually that stretches the foil and screws it up. That's why it looks kind of crappy. But so half the coil is just on the wood. Now on this panel there's something else that is well different. The last magnet that is sitting, well, here is partially in the wood. So I left a piece so I could glue the mylar to, but embedded the magnet into this spacer to save some, well, space. Then I use these tapes. So if you use a tape, it weighs the thing down. So your output will be less. Also, it does something at the lower end, but not so much at the top end. So this was a method of creating a flatter response instead of a rising response, and as well create a smaller tweeter that has better dispersion. So where it counts at the top end. So that's funny. I might show you a measurement if I got one. The only thing is that the low end is not as nice as the previous one, and I wonder why. I use the same magnets, I use the same steel, I use the same damping on the inside. The only thing I can think of, and that might probably be it, is the fact that this is more like a square. So this size is almost the same as this size, although you cannot see it, but the actual membrane is up till, well, here. So it's almost a square, and I don't think that's good. It's not working properly. It's either distorted insanely, or I stretch it a little bit more and then it goes away, but then I got a one note bass at, I don't know, 90 or something, and still rather much distortion compared to the old panel that with the damping like flattened quite seriously. It lost output for sure, but it sounded nicer. So the dimensions are not correct. And what I think what's happening, and correct me if I'm wrong, because maybe someone else knows more about drums, because that's essentially what it is. What I first think and thought, and maybe still is true, is that the whole membrane has one resonance, and that's the resonance. And that should be, well, that is how it should be, I think. But what I do notice with the panel that is more kind of rectangular instead of square, and that's also the reason I think why there are no round ESLs and no round planners, because it's, well, it has problems. This is like almost a square, so I guess the resonance this way is almost the same as this way. So it like exaggerate one resonance, while if this one is slightly bigger, it smooths it out a little bit. But I'm not sure if that's true, so I have to test that. So I will make the same one and make it slightly larger, like a centimeter or 1.5, I don't know, just to offset this dimension. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. As well, you can see my metal was too long and I didn't give a shit, apparently. It looks really nice. Taped off, clamps, sticking out metal. It's a classic, I must say. I outdone myself. It looks worse than ever. But yeah, still playing with this stuff. Also, the X-Max is still 3mm, which might be a little bit too much. I mean, I've never heard it touch the magnet. So that usually indicates that it is too big of a space. Because, well, it either sounds shit or it touches the magnet. Touching the magnet is a quite clear indicator that you play too loud. Now I can burn up the coil without it touching the magnets, but a burn up coil is not nice either. So about the tweeters, where it is taped off, it still plays down low, so it does help. It just doesn't do a high end, so it is kind of funny. It's like a passive filter thingy. Kind of cool, I think. If you, well, you know, you have to know how many tape or how many clear tweeter you have to leave behind to get a good result. Let's play a tune. It's not, well, there's not much low end, but then again, I looked up some Bluetooth loudspeakers. Typical Bluetooth loudspeakers go down to 80 hertz, 100 hertz, something like this. Then you have some big ones that do 50, and there's one that says it does 20, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But out of 12, I believe like 60 or 70% went only down till 80 or 90, I don't know, something like this. So I am kind of in the ballpark. And although it looks quite big, it is actually smaller than my previous one, which I thought was size-wise nice. And then I made this one and I thought, well, this one is way too big, but this is smaller. So that's weird. But anyhow, let's play a tune, and it's gonna be Dolly Parton, The Story. Maybe something else, but it's not, you know, it is a small speaker and it's not gonna be impressive, but it's just, I wanted to explain what I was doing with all the kind of tapes, and maybe someone has an idea about this resonance thing, how that works. I mean, for me it is just trial and error, and I probably, you know, there will be a result and then I say, yeah, well, you have to do this or that. But maybe someone already knows. I'm pretty sure someone does, but it's not me. Is this in the middle? So this is a stereo planar. Right tweeter, left tweeter.
All of these lines across my face tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been and how I got to where I am. But these stories don't mean anything when you got no one to tell them to. It's true, I was made for you. I've climbed across the mountain tops, swam all across the ocean blue. I've crossed all the lines and I broke all the rules, but baby, I broke them all for you. Because even when I was flat broke, well, you made me feel like $1,000,000. You do. And I was made for you. That's on my mouth.
So I'm just talking
it's hiding
right now.
The words
it's not a very loud passage, but who knows?
And all of my friends who think I'm so blessed.
So now I'm just talking. I'm not sure how well it is. You can hear it, but
no, they don't
so I guess
know
for background music, this is
really
a little bit too loud.
And they don't know what I've been through like you do. And I was made for you. All of these lines across my face, they tell you the story of who I am. So many stories of where I've been and just how I got to where I am. But these stories don't mean anything if you got no one to share them with. It's true, I was made for you. Yes, it's true, I was made for you. I was made for you. I was made for you.
Okay, I'll do a electronic number song, and I'll just give you a tiny walk, like, you know, go a little bit above the panel, sideways. You can see the dispersion is not like insane, but well, there's no reference. I cannot show you what a complete panel would do, but that would be terrible. I like way more terrible. So Daybreak from Overwerk, so I guess a Dutch guy. Electronic music. I'll just do a walk around with the camera and the microphone, I don't know. I do notice the low end. This one really sounds a bit compressed and nasty compared to the older one, which is weird. So I really want to change the dimensions and see what that does. Hopefully it works out. There we go. Well, I said there we go, but apparently not. There we go. So yeah, the amount of like top end, you can decide by removing some tape or adding tape if you want less. So that's a nice thing, and I might need to remove some more tape to get a little bit more of sparkle, but it will hurt the vertical dispersion. But if you compare this one to my old one, which had tweeters like the whole length, this one does like 4 times better. Still, you know, it's not a small dome tweeter, but still, way better. Low end on this panel right now, I don't know. I like the one I made like a few weeks ago better. It somehow dropped in place and had like very low distortion for such a small panel, which I assume will be in the 15 plus. And this one does less, well, you know, it has a clear resonance, which fucks up the whole sound a bit. Anyhow, see you next time. If you know more about drums and the way the resonance works, if it's one resonance or it's like 2 resonances that create one, that could be, so making 2 different dimensions could like broaden the resonance. I don't know. Who knows? It's not me. See ya.